All right, welcome back to the channel. It's finally the time for me to review this past year, the 2023 season, my second season of growing. Let's do this right now and let's see what's coming on the channel. I have here my kitchen scrap. I'm gonna put it in my compost and let's review this year. Well, I'm very happy to finally come back on the video and being able to talk about everything I've been doing since I moved in that new house in 2020. Well, it was December 2020, so it was really the end of the year. So this is my second season growing here. Everything started like that because I decided to grow some of my own food, some vegetables, fruits and herbs. Go check my first video on my channel if you wanna see the review of that first year of growing here. It's been a hard season. The second season, nothing went as planned. That's how much the Himra, the grapevine, grew. Very nice growth. Very happy about the grape. You can see she goes on the house. I'm gonna prune her, but yeah, she's very amazing. We got some grape here growing at the beginning of the season, but the birds took care of that, and they ate everything. So there she is. There we go. Very nice. Very happy about how she's doing. That's her second year in the ground. So here we have some beans, Kentucky beans, I believe. That's my first year growing them, and that's one of the positive things this year. Very nice beans. I harvested some yesterday, so there's not much left on full size. Some small ones here, but this part of the trellis doesn't get much sun, and they still manage to grow very well. There we go. That's for the beans. Snapdragon. They are falling, but I hope next year they will come back and they will be stronger. There is some bachelor buttons, some alyssum, I believe. Here's some alyssum, and here are my lilies that I planted last year. They came back very good. They have been flowering since the beginning. Now they stop. I don't know if they're gonna flower one more time before the end of the season. Here, these are flowers that I planted from seed in the winter sowing method. It didn't grow great, but it survived. So now it's taking its time, but it's growing. This is a calendula. It's not growing at all. It's been this size since I planted it. This, I forgot what it was. I apologize for that. And I think these ones are the purple coneflower. We have here some melon growing also on the trellis. Last year they were growing here, and they were doing way better because here there is more sun. Here against the fence there is almost no sun towards the day, so that's a big mistake I did. You can see they look weak, and there is no fruit on them. It's probably gonna come, but it will be too late in the season for them to ripe. Here there is the black eye Susan I planted last year, and next to it another rudbeckia. It's also a yellow daisy, but with a yellow center. And look at it. She is almost reaching 6 feet because that fence is 6 feet. Look how she grew. It's unbelievable. Honestly, I don't think on the pot that was the size mentioned, but yeah, I'm pretty happy about it. I think she's finally going to flower. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think these are the little bulb. So many flower on one stem. I'm really looking forward to see that. These are This is Shasta Daisy. I cut the flower a few days ago. I'm not sure that was the thing to do, but they were looking very bad and very old, so I removed them. This here, it's a yarrow, a strawberry yarrow. Very nice growth, but it kind of stopped at some point. I really like this plant. Here, it's also a Shasta Daisy. She got infected by aphids at the beginning of the season. Here she has another problem. I don't treat, I don't do anything. I just left everything like that. She flowered, I removed the flower. You can see here there's an old one. And at some point the aphids just disappeared. So I don't know what it means. I don't know if it means that my ecosystem is finally taking place and there was a predator maybe for these aphids. I'm not sure if they disappear just normally like that because of the weather or something like that. But the plant, look, she's gonna make it, so we'll see next year if she comes back healthier. I keep amending the soil, I keep giving fresh organic matter. I gave dead leaves last season, and this spring I also put a new compost on around all the plants, and I covered with some leaves. Behind the Shasta Daisy, there is a purple coneflower. You see, due, I believe, to the lack of sun, well, they never flowered. We'll see if next year they finally flower. Here is the strawberry patch I started last year. So this is a pretty good result. I'm happy they came back good. They produced a lot. I had to cover it, so I have a net over there, and I installed these little wires here to hold the net over. I did a mistake that I thought it was a good idea to plant blueberries among the strawberries. It's a good idea in my opinion, but also a bad one because it makes it very hard to protect the whole thing. Why do I protect the whole thing? It's because I have so many squirrels and so many chipmunks and birds that if I don't protect, it's just impossible. Like, they eat everything. So, and why now it's not protected no more? Because I got tired of it, and I thought, well, I got the first batch of strawberry in June, and now it's time for them to flower again, for the ones that produce all season long. I have some that produce only one time. They are not ever bearing. All this patch over there, they produce only in June. All these patches here, which is strawberry Ozark and some Chef Jeff strawberry and some Alpine strawberries, these produce all season long. So they are making, you see here, new flowers. So this time I'm just gonna leave it uncovered and see what happens. The blueberry, they barely produce. I don't know, it's been 2 years I have them and they really barely produce. I don't know if an animal is stealing these blueberries or I do something wrong. They don't have enough sun maybe, I have no idea. They stay pretty small and they don't produce really. Here you can see some blueberries. Well, that's only their first year, so I think this is pretty normal, but yeah, it's still very small. It grows extremely slow. here at least in my garden. So you see the strawberry patch and everything else. Here I have some mint that I keep in pot because I don't want it to propagate too much in the garden, but I still have a few spots in the garden where I planted some mint. So I'm pretty happy this year. It looks healthier than last year, and it produces more. So that's very good. This is a row of roses, and I put it some of it's this name I cannot pronounce this name, but this is a very famous flowers. I'm sure you all got the name of that, and if you don't have it, maybe somebody can add that in the comment section. That would be very nice. Some more mints, the same plant that I really love, so I put the seeds a little bit everywhere. And this is some zinnia, I believe, some giant zinnia. All right, so let's go here. So after the strawberry patch, I added a new bed this year, but that was really yeah, it didn't go too well, this one. Here's some lettuce, black seeded Simpson, some romaine lettuce, and then we have some Lola Rosa lettuce, and then I had some potato that I already harvested. Here, this is my 2 compost bins. So this one is unused at the moment, and here this one is doing very good. So I put everything in there, and then I take that compost and I put it back in my garden. Here, this is a bed that produced pretty good. There is not much sun here because of the trees, but here I planted carrots, radishes, onions, garlic, and that's it, I think. There's a tomato there, but I didn't plant that. It came from the compost. What I wanted to say is that, yeah, so I think because of the lack of sun, they didn't produce too well here. I leave some radishes going to seed just to experiment. You can see here, well, there's no radish here. I mean, so I don't know why. Some radishes were big like that, and some others not at all, and they are like next to each other. The carrot is the same. I believe the lack of sun. They didn't grow too big here. That's probably the biggest carrot that I have seen so far. And look at that, it's super short, but these are carottes de Nantes, the French variety. So it's, yeah, they should be bigger, but this one I'm happy about that. It's my first time growing carrots. We have another one here we can get, and the taste is good, very good, so I'm happy about that. It's two nice carrots here, but yeah, it's a start. There was more carrots here. Here I did a bed that didn't work at all. I put some new strawberry from Beirut strawberry that never came out. I put some flowers, and this grew out of the compost. Then this is another strawberry patch, experimental strawberry patch. I never harvested, never did anything. I just put a net over it at some point because all the berries were being eaten by the squirrels. Here there is some mint that I planted directly in the soil, so she's gonna probably invade a little bit this area. We'll see how I can manage that. This is a blackberry that got very damaged by the squirrels at the beginning of her life. Like everything that is here got damaged by the squirrels, like very badly. This one finally grew, so I'm looking forward for next year. If I don't protect the fruits, I'm never gonna get anything from here, that is for sure. Here this is lemon balm, so it went to flower now, but I already harvested some, so that's great. I'm very happy about that. Here is a raspberry root. She's doing good. She's doing pretty good. This is another raspberry here. Very happy about it. Again, she got very damaged at the beginning by the squirrels, and then finally grew strong enough to resist. Probably next year I will have some fruit again if I protect the plant. Here it's a blackberry, very nice blackberry, very nice blackberry. Here's one little fruit coming to life, but I believe it's gonna be gone as soon as it's ready. We have more here, but it's already half eaten. And here in the comment section, if somebody can tell me why she's doing that. She's very, very like curling her leaves in, and they are suddenly very dark. Look at that. So I don't know if she wants a support, but in the nature there is no support for them, and they thrive. So I'm just wondering what's going on. And here I can see there's something wrong. Here it's black. So this will need to be investigated for sure. There we go. This is for the berry patch here. It's a nice little corner here with all the berries. I think this can be very nice, and I wanted to I went to get all these rocks. I wanted to do a pond here, a small pond, but I got trouble to know how I'm gonna bring electricity there to power the pump. So this idea is in standby. Here I got something very interesting here. This is the grape. So when I prune the grape, I directly put them in the soil. And here I neglected them, so that's very bad. But I have 1, 2, 3, more than 5 here. More than 5 here grape growing. And here I also neglected them, unfortunately, but I have 2 grape growing here. So this will be transplanted soon. Here I have some chamomile that I planted next to the rose. This chamomile also got attacked by aphids, and apparently she's not done with it. You can tell here it's something wrong with the plant. Again, if anybody has any insight on stuff that I show, that I have no idea what's going on, but I tend to do always the same. Just let the nature do. If the plant dies, she dies. I'm gonna try to learn out of it, and I'm trying to keep amending the soil. Here the soil was pretty bad. I put some garden soil here to cover the grass, and then I added some compost over it, but I guess I should have directly put compost and not garden soil. So we'll see. This is again some zinnia here growing, very nice. So yeah, we'll see about that. Here I just planted some different type of flowers. Here are some wild flowers in the pots. Here again some giant zinnia. There was some climbing ones, but they don't seem to make it, except this one that is climbing all the way, but she doesn't flower yet. Here we have the cucumber and tomato area. So here's a cucumber. Like you see, everything, like last year I was already eating cucumbers, and this year look at that. this, I believe. I don't know if it's the bird poop. I don't know what happened here. It looks like it's poop. Yeah, I have a lot of birds around, fortunately and unfortunately, I would say. Kind of both. Here's was the first cucumber growing. I'm wondering if these are not insects. Let's check. Oh, I think this is. Oh, this might be an insect. I will have to check that outside the camera with my two hands to see if that's infestation, if that's soil or bird poop. So here are cucumbers. So I put different type of cucumbers here. Some lemon cucumbers, some slicing cucumbers. Here are cucumbers too. You can see when they grow like that, it's not that good. The shape is not. It's not the greatest. So there's a lack of something. And here is my tomatoes. As you can see, they are very small for end of July. It's almost ridiculous. I was so disappointed this year that I really just decided to let it grow the way it will grow. Last year I was pruning everything. I was, tidying them up, the string. This year I rolled them around the string a few times, but that's it. I was so disappointed end of spring that I kind of let go a little bit. And it was feeling good, stepping back a little bit from all this, taking it less seriously. It made me feel good because it brought me a lot of anxiety, like seeing that nothing was going the way I wanted. So I stepped back and I felt good about it. This is probably a Roma tomato here. I don't know if you see, it's this shape of a Roma tomato. I don't see my screen because of the sun very much, so I hope everything is going all right. Then here we have some small ones. So again, unfortunately, I was so disappointed by the outcome of the winter sowing that I kind of let go, and when I planted the tomato finally, I didn't even I didn't even pay attention to which tomato I was planting. I was just taking any jugs any day and just doing one jug at a time and planting the tomato. So it's not doing great here. You can see there's some rot at the end of the tomato. So yeah, it's very a particular year. I thought everything will go way better than that. I see a lot of little insects here and there on the tomato, so yeah, it's definitely not doing great. But I'll deal with it. This is my herb bed here. So we have oregano. I let everything like really go wild, and I let the oregano flower and go to seed. This I like it. I just like it like that this year. I guess there's some years that I'm gonna intervene way more, prune way more, and this year I felt it was just the occasion to let everything going wild and just see how everything react with a minimum of intervention from my part. So here there is some romaine that is, is not doing too bad, and it's a fresh lettuce, so this is nice and eatable. This is a tarragon. Here I planted an onion. I had in the fridge. It was very an experimentation because I didn't know really what the outcome, what to expect from that. I just leave it like that. Maybe it's gonna seed and come back next year. I have no idea. Here is supposed to be some tomato growing, but look at that. I mean, this is ridiculous. End of June, you have a tomato like that. You know what I mean? This is never gonna grow on time, and I don't want to sound too negative, but yeah, I'm very disappointed because I bought all these tomato seeds to have like a huge range of different tomato, and well, nothing came as planned. So here, that's my little new tomato installation here. So I have this trellis and this tomato growing underneath. So either the lack of sun, either the timing was wrong, but yeah, you see how small it is, and I don't know what the outcome is gonna be. This is some mushroom growing in the wood chips. A lot of them everywhere. Look at my basil. This is ridiculous. I want to eat basil in June. End of May, in June, I want to eat basil. With this, I cannot. So I'm happy now. I see it. It looks healthy. It looks green. It's growing. I'm so happy. But this should have happened in June or late May, in my opinion, or in my needs. This is what I'm expecting from my garden, having plants like that end of June. So now my goal it's gonna be to analyze what I have to do to have this in May, let's say. I'm gonna sit down and review that, but I want you to see that. And yeah, look, in the end I was so disappointed that I just took what was in the jug and I just transplanted the whole thing with the soil. Of course not the whole soil of the jug, but the first little thing that get attached to the seedlings. I just transplanted everything like that. So now maybe I have to cut one or two, but I'm not even sure. I think I'm just gonna let everything grow like that. I'm gonna learn from my mistakes. But yeah, I'm happy when I see that. This is what makes me happy, but this should have happened 2 months ago. All right, let's go back to the chair. All right, let's sit down and talk a little bit about the channel, about this season, this growing season that just finished around a month ago. We had the first frost here around the end of October. So pretty on time. The average date for my first frost is October 20. My goal when I moved here in this new house was to grow some herbs and some vegetables and fruits for my family. And so I knew nothing about growing. I knew nothing about gardening. I never lived in a house before. That was my first experience living in a house. I always lived in buildings, so I had I grew some herbs on balcony and stuff like that, but nothing major, nothing related to the soil, and all this was new to me, is new to me still. I'm learning every day, and that's the beauty of it. The more you do, the more you learn, and I think the more the passion grows. It's very amazing. Now it's late November. We are November 27. It's around 11 a.m. The days are very, very short now, so even with the greenhouse, I'm not sure a lot will be growing. I have a bed still in activity over there in the back, where I have some lettuces, some arugula, some radishes. They are still alive despite the frosts, but I would say because of also the location where I put that bed, there's not much sun there because the sun is so low. So here I have some goods. That's kind of where the channel is going. I have this beautiful homemade Swiss Christmas cookie that I did with my daughter yesterday. I have this French meringue also that I did homemade. But beside that, just the pleasure of growing and being able to eat what you grew is just, in my opinion, it's just mind-blowing. There's nothing that replaces that. In my opinion, nothing replaces growing your own food. And here, again, I just want to be pretty precise on that. I'm not planning to grow everything. I'm not, I mean, unless I have to, I hope not, but unless one day I have to, I will still go to the supermarket. I will still, buy pre-made product because, like I don't think I'm ready to make my ice cream. I mean, I had that in mind, but I like to find a balance between growing, producing some of my own food, and also buying stuff from the supermarket that I think it's worth it. So it is a balance. If I can talk now more precisely about this growing season, so for the first time I decided to grow most of everything from seed, and that was a challenge because I never did it before. So I decided to go with the winter sowing technique. Winter sowing is really great. I did around 50 jugs. I had some seed trays also. I saw a lot of seeds. I had like a list of 100, over 100 seed. I mean, little seedlings growing between the jugs and the seed tray. So everything was there on my deck, and I thought that was the great location to do it because the sun rise here and set there. So the deck has like a very nice morning sun until maybe 1 p.m., 2 p.m. It depends which month of the year. So in spring, it's a very nice morning sun until 1 p.m. I believe. And so the start of the winter sowing, it started very good. So all the seedlings popped, everything appeared, like I saw little green head everywhere in the jugs, everywhere in the seed tray. That was great. So that was probably March, April. And the thing is that at that period of time, because like I said, nothing went good in that season. Nothing went smooth in that season compared to my first season that was pretty surprising to me. There was a lot of success in my first season growing, despite a lot of failures too. But I got successes that made me feel good, and I wanted to keep going. But the second season, nothing went as expected. So one of the things, because I kept questioning myself why, and I'm coming to the why very soon. Why the winter sowing technique didn't work as good as I thought it would. The jugs were good, the drainage holes were good, the soil was good. And what I didn't expect is the lack of sun, basically. So here you don't see, but I have a lot of trees on the property and the neighbors. So these trees are covering almost my entire backyard. So in winter, in fall, they lose all their leaves. In winter, there's no more leaves, and in spring, early spring until mid-spring, maybe even almost the end of spring, the leaf didn't set yet. Like, it's not a full carpet on top of my head. And I didn't realize that. So basically, early spring, the sun was strong and long enough to make the seedling pop correctly. Some seed, like sunflower seed, they grew perfectly. They outgrew the jugs. So that's why I was expecting most of the crops will outgrow the jugs, and I will open the jug and plant them. That's what I saw in other videos. But In my case, it was not the. In my case, it didn't happen like that. What happened is that a few seedlings, like the sunflower, outgrew the jug, and I think it's almost the only ones. All the other seedlings, they came out, and some, like the tomato, that came out later, of course, because the tomato is a summer crop, so the seed will anyway wait for the warm night to start to grow. But when the night became warm enough for them to grow, the leaves of the trees that I have were already grown, and the sun started to not be as constant as before, or I believe they didn't have enough direct sun during the day for the seedling to grow perfectly. So I arrived end of May, early June, with all of my tomato being like very baby tomato. And I had still in mind that some winter sower said, it's okay, it takes time, you will see, be patient. So my mistake is that I waited so long to transplant these tomato or different other summer crops. And when I did, it was already so late. So despite being late, they still grew. At the end of the season, my tomato were gigantic. They were big, they were big, they produced tomato, but most of the tomato didn't have time to ripe. So I took them inside, they were green, most of them turned bad. I didn't have enough knowledge to process all that tomato. I didn't know what to do. I tried different things. Some came to red, like to a red, nice red color. I was able to eat them. But most of them were not good. And so I truly believe that, I don't know if I can say I truly believe. I'm thinking it's the lack of direct sun. Because of the amount of trees that I have, I don't have enough direct sun on specific crops that need direct sun. So weirdly enough, for example, I have this back corner there that is completely under the pine trees that my neighbors have. This blocks a lot of sun. But my beans that I put there really they got some direct sun, but not a lot. And the beans, it was my first year growing beans. They grew so well. The beans grew so well. It was very nice. So I really don't know why the beans without so much direct sun they grew so well, and the tomato didn't do good at all. Okay, it's not the same location, but where I plant the tomato, it's usually where I believe there is the most direct sun. So I really have to investigate correctly what happened and make it better for the next season. So we are planning to trim some of the trees that we can. I'm not sure if we're gonna take some of the trees completely down or we're gonna just cut some branches. Last year we already cut some branches, and the tree just grew other branches that didn't cover the same area, but still brings a big coverage. I have to say, I started with zero knowledge. I was very scared the first year when I finished my first season, that I was very scared about my perennials. So my strawberry bed came back very good. So all these are very positive points that I can mention. All the flowers, the perennial flowers, came back very good. I have like a row of roses that came back but didn't do good at all. They didn't flower very well. Some of them looked very weak, didn't have a lot of foliage. I really believe that it's the lack of sun. So again, this lack of sun I have a bed in the back where I put my radishes, my lettuce. Um, this bed did well, but I can tell like with more direct sun, the crops will be way bigger. The yield will be more generous. I redid some design in the back part with some rocks that I got, some logs to create edges. So I really want this natural look, and I'm always, of course, focus on permaculture, which means like I'm doing everything with what my land provides. So every branches that I found, all the grass clipping that I have when I mow my lawn, all this I put in the compost, I burn, I use the ashes, the ashes, sorry. I use the ashes. I do my own fertilizer. I started this year to do my own fertilizer, so that's great. I'll do a separate video on that. Let's talk quick about the compost. I want to mention the compost too. So the compost, it's amazing. It's like I said in one of my other video. It's probably the first thing that I should have done when I started my garden. It's the compost. You place your compost pot, and then you just keep filling it, and that's how I believe your soil is gonna get richer and richer. So the mistake I did for my compost is that I did 2 compost heap or bin, whatever you call it, 4 by 4 foot, 4 by 4 feet. And so for the amount of material that I have, the amount of material that I put in the compost, I would say this compost bin or heap are too big, because I don't have enough to feed for the compost to get large and to properly heat. So I think it's a little too wide for what I have so far, so it spreads too much, and it's not enough like a mount. It needs to be more like, I believe, a mount for it to heat properly. I have more and more. The more I grow, of course, the more I have to bring to the compost. So the first year I had mostly leaves from fall in the compost bin with everything else, but it was not a lot. So as you need nitrogen and carbon for the reaction to happen and to start to heat, I had mostly carbon, so it didn't heat well. So I believe when I spread my compost that was not completely finished last spring, I spread a lot of seeds, and it was very annoying. This year I got a lot of weed growing everywhere. I had to weed my beds all the time. I hope it's not going to be the case next year, but I think it still will, unfortunately. Right now I'm starting to have a pile that is bigger, so I believe this time it will heat more, and maybe have a more like I'm gonna get a more finished compost, and I hope the seeds will be eliminated. But other than that, it's been great. The result I got from the compost, some were unfinished. This year I just apply I would say a 2-inch to 3-inch of compost on all my beds. So I still had a good compost. What do I put in my compost? Yeah, but everything I get from my property. All the branches, the grass clipping, the leaves, all the crops. When I cut the tomato, I don't remove, at the end of the season, I don't remove the tomato from the ground. I cut the tomato just above ground. I leave the roots in the soil to decompose and just to keep feeding the soil. And I put the rest of the plant, I try to cut in small parts, and I put it in the compost. So that's one of the things I put in the compost. I put all the kitchen scrap, but I don't put, the one thing that I don't put in the compost is meat, Mostly all the things that is cooked with oil and all that, I don't put in a compost. Um, so what I'm missing is a greenhouse. I absolutely want a greenhouse. I don't have right now neither the time, neither the budget to do a greenhouse. I don't want to buy it pre-made. I'm trying to avoid everything that is pre-made, and I think that's the channel. That's exactly the goal of the channel. It's to the channel is called Post Tenebras Lux Garden, but I think I will change it in Post Tenebras Lux Homemade. That will fit more the channel. I like everything that is homemade. There is nothing to compare with anything you do homemade, that anything you can buy. I'm talking about shelves. We bought shelves, and it's never the perfect size like you want when you design your interior. You have specific needs, and honestly it's very rare, unless you do custom made, but it's very rare when you go on Amazon and you purchase stuff. It's very rare that it fits perfectly, and I'm a little crazy. I like stuff that are square and fits perfectly and whatever. So I really enjoy doing all that myself. Again, I had zero experience when I started. I started all the homemade cooking stuff, all the woodwork, homemade, all the garden. I started all this when I moved in this house about 2 years ago. So that's what I want to document on this channel, and share everything that I've learned. I think it's very interesting because I am following other homemade or gardening channel, and it's true that most of them, that's their job, that's their life, their entire life is dedicated to the garden, and they share that online, which is amazing because that's how we learn. But I believe sometimes it can be a little frustrating because, well, my goal is not to be a full-time gardener. That's not what I do. I have a job. I love my job. Above everything else, I love what I do. I will talk maybe about that on another video because this has nothing to do with the channel. Almost nothing. But gardening is a passion. Cooking homemade food, homemade bread is a passion. It's something I truly love. So I want to share it because I'm learning as I go, and this can be very useful for other people that want to learn also as they go, and maybe they don't have everything this huge gardening or huge cooking channel have. I don't have all the tools. I don't have all the tools that I see the woodworking YouTube channel doing. I don't have all these tools, so often I have to compose with what I have, but I still get there. I still get to the goal, and that's what I want to share. Often we stop because we think we don't have enough to do it. Well, let me tell you, we have enough to do it, and I do with what I have, and I increase every time a little more the things I have. But sometimes you don't need everything to do something. You can just do it with your goodwill and little tricks here and there, and you can make it happen. So that's why I want to share with you. I hope you like it. Well, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. Like and share this video if you think it might be useful. I'll see you in the next one.